Say no to the warmongers. Say no to the war machine. Here in the United States, military service is not compulsory, but it is around most of the world. But we're the ones that get into wars faster than any other country in the world. And so we also have to challenge the prevailing mythologies that exist in our country today, that the military is used to keep America safe, to spread this idea of freedom and democracy. First of all, we shouldn't be spreading any idea of freedom and democracy anywhere. And secondly, our military, that's not the military's job. The military is not a spreader of freedom and democracy. The military is a spreader of destruction. And what it's supposed to do is protect us. That's what a military of any nation is supposed to do. Be defensive. We're not supposed to pick and choose what countries that we think need American-style democracy. What has been more effective in the last 10 years? Bombing the crap out of countries, or the uprising that's come from within in these countries? It's the uprising that has come from within that has been more effective in making change. The bombing the countries only installs puppet governments loyal and friendly to the United States, disloyal and unfriendly to the people of the countries. So, and then we're here saying that we have the best system of government in the world. That it's so good that we have to spread it all over the world. We don't have transparent elections here. I don't know if I'm telling you guys anything new, especially when you get to the federal level. We get to vote for Goldman Sachs candidate A or Goldman Sachs candidate B, military industrial complex candidate A or MIC candidate B. We don't get to choose the candidates, they're chosen for us. So we're just going and putting our X next to the candidate chosen for us that we choose. But I bet if we actually chose candidates, the people in this audience who actually chose the candidates, we'd be in the Democratic Party voting for president for Dennis Kucinich. That's, I think, who we would be voting for. And last election cycle, if the people really chose the candidates in the Republican side, they'd probably be voting for Ron Paul. So the people actually don't get to choose the candidates that we get to vote for in those elections. That's why our politics have to be more local. That's why we have to take control of our local governments and our local communities and make the health start here and then spread across the country and spread up. And then we're supposed to be spreading freedom. We're going to bring freedom to these countries while we're losing our freedoms here. Many of us, if our homes, if our communities, if our children and grandchildren would be threatened, we would understand the concept of self-defense. And we would work to repel such an attack, just like the people of Iraq were doing the day my son was killed. They were repelling an attack by the U.S. military on their territory. I understand that. I have not held anybody in Iraq responsible for my son's death. I hold the people who sent him there for lies, for deception, for profit. They are the ones responsible for his death. Yet they are running free around the world. What we have to do is counteract this propaganda. One of the best things a peace person can do is work to keep our children out of the military. But it's getting harder and harder, isn't it? By 2006, the military was in crisis. The military was not making its recruitment goals because people knew the wars were lies. They knew George Bush and his administration were criminal. They knew that people like Blackwater and Halliburton and the oil companies and too many war profiteers to name were getting rich while they were getting killed, while they were being injured, while they were being emotionally, physically, psychically, intellectually injured. People knew that. They were starting to get it. But what's happened since then? Our economy is in free fall. We have a real unemployment rate that's somewhere around 17 or 18%. That, because the 9% that they'll let us know about doesn't include everybody who stopped looking for work. It doesn't include people who have fallen off the unemployment rolls, which is most of everybody by now. So if you factor all those things in, it's around 17 or double what they're telling us. And not only is unemployment high and so difficult to find a job now, so people who might want to go to school instead of joining the military, they can't actually afford it. Income disparity in the United States wider than any other country, so-called civilized country. It's getting harder and harder for our children, the children of the working class, the children of the poor classes, and even the children of the almost non-existent middle class. It's getting harder and harder for them to have any other opportunity but join the military. I don't know about your son, but my son Casey joined to get his college credit, to get college tuition help. He had already gotten his AA degree, and he was going on for his bachelor's and felt he couldn't really do it financially without putting too much stress on himself and stress on the family. So he joined the military. Look where that got him. And one thing that we have to tell our kids and our families and the parents is that the Pentagon has a statistic that less than 17% of veterans access their VA benefits for education. The Pentagon knows that, so they feel very comfortable with offering that. You have to almost have a degree in accessing your benefits to get your benefits. They make it that hard. And besides education benefits, getting help, physical help, getting emotional help is very hard to access too. There's something that's new started in this war called traumatic brain injury, TBI. And it's not something that is apparent from the outside, but it's when your brain gets banged around in the skull and in the helmet. And you get these injuries that you can't see from the outside. But you know how the military is diagnosing them? This is incredible. They're diagnosing them by having the soldier who thinks he has the symptoms of TBI to fill out a questionnaire. And if they flunk the questionnaire, they don't get to take the test, the test of the machine that they have to detect TBI. So, I am frequently accused of dishonoring my son's memory. I am frequently accused of not caring for soldiers and vets. When our country sends them to fight these ignorant, callous, untrue wars for profit, and then won't take care of them when they come home. That's where the problem is. Not the people like us who are trying to prevent damaged vets. They say that we don't care about them because we're trying to prevent that from happening. So I think what we have to do is basically have information, education, warfare.